Continuamos. In this case, we are going to talk about arid environment protected agriculture. Is a different kind of greenhouses, of course, because we are talking about the protected protected crops need fresh water, of course, and scarcity and low relativity humidity, a high potential evapotranspiration and high temperatures. So in arid environment, the chronic shortage of water is very common. Here in this area, they have problem or lack of water, most of them. So in the Middle East and North Africa, over 80% of the all fresh water consumed is used for agriculture. That's a big problem here in the north of Africa, and also in the Middle East. The 80% of the water is used for agriculture. So the efficiency is critical. They have to work a lot with the water. The food security have a concern about increasing awareness of the declining freshwater availability. So people need water and it is expensive. That's the reason that protected agriculture is a growing trend in arid regions such as Middle East and stop growing in the land areas because they spend a lot of water, so they need to save water. Okay, and also here in the Middle East is the richest countries of the world. Here we have the United Emirates United, so it's very uh, richest area, but also there is a lot of problem here in the Africa's north area and most of the areas of Middle East, for example. So talking about arid environment, arid and semi-arid climate is 30% of the world. Most of the area here in the world is arid and semi-arid climate. The 20% of this area are inhabited, is along only sand. Are in home 24% of Africa. The 70% is the Americas and the Caribbean, and 23% is in Asia. In Asia. For example, only 6% is in Australia and Oceania, and finally 11% is in Europe. So this climate very low precipitation and large problems with the lack of water. So the evapotranspiration is very difficult for the crops. There is a lot of evapotranspiration. So like talking about a steppe arid climate, VAs, they receive an annual precipitation below the annual potential evapotranspiration. So that's the reason that it's desertic the area, because they spend more water to the environment than the water that received by the rains, for example. Whereas a desert arid climate receives very little annual precipitation, sometimes nothing of water, and experiencing a high evapotranspiration. So it's very difficult to make agriculture in this area, but it's the biggest area in the world. So they need to produce their food, their crops. So in arid environment, the heat stress, for example, is very important to have evapotranspiration control inside the greenhouse. Is obligated in this kind of arid and semi-arid climates, because they are increasing the relativity humidity. The greenhouse it make, when are increasing this relativity humidity, the greenhouse reduction in the crop, the evapotranspiration be almost 60% to 80%. So in the Middle East and northern of Africa, the daytime temperatures of the greenhouse reach 46%, with 38% outside the greenhouses. So it's higher the temperature inside the greenhouse that outside. That is because the temperature is so in Jordan, for example, there is a greenhouse that augmented over 75 degrees when outside the greenhouse is 37%. This is due to the infrared radiation and the kind of cover of the greenhouses that invert but this is invert during the early morning hours and the day. Meanwhile, was 31.7 degrees to 28 degrees and 11 and 60 degrees for nighttime to daytime. It's very important to make the different cover to reduce this kind of temperature. So an interesting observation from this study, the average inside temperature with the crop dropped to 20 degrees over the night. So the crops make difference inside the greenhouses. So talking about the ventilation inside a greenhouses in arid climate, they need to know in these greenhouses during the very hot periods, they should be active ventilation and the cooling is required. They must to spend money. If the year's wrong crop production occurs, the fogging system and fan and pad system are the most with the spread as the more useful for cooling the greenhouses. So evaporative cooling coupled with active ventilation and shading, they together can reduce the greenhouse air temperature by 8 degrees. So fan and pad system are effective at cooling the air, but they must to create temperature and humidity gradients for inlet to outlet. That is the use of this system. The fogging system, for example, over pad and active ventilation must be limited to avoid stressing the crop through the increase in transpiration. So we can use in the very early morning the different situation and try to save money. No? This is the cooling system with the fan. This fan blow the air across the pad water or the evaporative pad, and this is like a cooler called here in Culiacan, that we are they're using water across the wall pad, and the air made to throw across the pad air and make the hot air outside the greenhouse to a temperate area, and this can refresh the greenhouses. So also, overcooling greenhouses evaporative is 67% of the world's water demand. It's a lot of water used, not for the crops, only for reduce the temperature inside the greenhouse. And also fan and pad system use 18 kilograms for meter of water, with the ventilation rate of very low situation. And also fog system can use only 12 kilograms of water with a ventilation rate reduced. So reducing it to reduce or to save water or to save money, the passive ventilation is the first stage in the active useful inside the greenhouses. So it is needed cooling to reduce the peak greenhouses air temperature, of course, but use it in tropical climates. It depends on the size of the greenhouse. So most of the new techniques is a retractable roof system, is a new technology used for it consists in a closable size as an hybrid. They're open during the day to reduce the temperature inside the greenhouses. So the water use efficiency, of course, and mass, but in the use passive and active system of ventilation just to reduce energy and to water needs, save water also. So the higher environment protected agriculture, this is the evaporative cooling forced ventilation. This is the path which is in the side of the greenhouses, and here above the path they drop water across this net, and the ventilation or the fan forced the air outside the greenhouse to cross this path, which is watering. So the air inside the greenhouse is temperate, is more cold, or reduce the temperature inside the greenhouses. So the lack of water resource and the salinity of the availability water can fast deterioration of this cooling performance of the pad and also of the fan. This is due to the clogging of the pad. So airborne, dust, salt accumulation, all those things reduce the airflow inside the greenhouses. So we clog pads to reduce the efficiency of the cooling system. In some cases, to 22%, this increase the electricity and reduce also uh, the charge in the greenhouses. So it will be only humidity relativity below of 10%. It's very expensive and difficult to maintenance in this kind of system of fog. So there is important to know that cladding materials also reduce the heat of the greenhouses, similar than in the tropical climates, because the arid climates present a very difficult, harsh environment for the plastics. So the cladding ultraviolet may sometimes like stabilize it, reduce the near infrared light. So the cladding material can have advantage under very high solar radiation conditions, such as found in the arid climates and certain tropical regions. So these kind of films of polyethylene reduce the undesired near infrared light, which reaching the inside of the greenhouses, and there be reduce the inside temperature, of course, no? While not reducing the amount of light or par light which is used for photosynthesis inside reaching the crops. Also high temperatures and high solar radiation acting an accumulation of dust and dirt on the material can be the major factors in the degradation of the transmittance, or of course of polyethylene films and the light transmission. So it's very important to make a very good maintenance of the greenhouses. So we can see here the importance of the properties of cladding material, the cladding material for using the protected agriculture. It depends on the properties. For example, the anti-dust in the climate, in the arid climate, is very high, useful. In subtropical climate also is high, but in tropical climate is very low, because we have here a lot of rain, and it doesn't matter that they have dust, because the rain clean the poly the clean the structure, or the cladding material, for example, no? In other situations, the scattering of the radiation in arid climates is high, in tropical climates medium, and tropical climates is very low, because the direct radiation, it doesn't a problem. So not drip is inside the greenhouses with a high relativity humidity, we have in arid climate a low use because we have a very low relativity climate or relativity humidity. In tropical climates is very high useful, this kind of plastic, and in the tropical climate is medium. So the high part transmittance, which is used for the photosynthesis in the crops, is medium in the arid climate because in this kind of climate we have a lot of light. We don't have a problem with the part transmittance, but in subtropical and tropical is high useful because sometimes there are clouds in the sky that don't have a good light transmission, and most of them is far infrared and near infrared is the kind of light that warm the greenhouses. So in the arid climate is very useful the far infrared and the near infrared. In tropical is the same situation, also low useful in winter, but in tropical climates is also high usage because this kind of light is uh, nocivo for the crops. Also, in the arid environment, the cleaning of the film will reduce the dust, which is a block for the sun. In this case, you can see the drop inside the greenhouses that reduce the light transmittance, for example, and this kind of plastic with not drip material has a better light transmission. So most of the reduced transmittance is 10%. So drip prevention during the condensation period is very important to this kind of light transmittance. So water droplets inside also can cause diseases for infestation, and water spots is a problem inside the crop. So the accumulation of drops in the underside of the cladding also reduce transmittance. The last right I already talked. So this also 21%. So no drip material with field condensation behavior instead of the drop condensation. So combined with a minimum rough inclination, this will prevent some of the drawbacks of condensation inside the greenhouses. So it's very important to use no drip material in this environment, in the arid environment protected agriculture. So also you can see the crop damage is higher in the clear nights inside the greenhouses because the degree below upside by far infrared lights they loses stroke of the cladding material. So this kind of light produce crop damage. So condensation of the crop leaves lead to this disease of this water when drops on the leaves of the crops produce disease inside the greenhouse. That's the reason that nowadays retractable greenhouses are very useful. Also, cladding materials with films is available because the thermicity variant between 50% and 35%. So these kind of films give the ability to reduce the far infrared light that cause crop damage. So the warm during the clear and cold nights is a photochromic and thermochromic materials of the greenhouses. So cladding kept out the near infrared light. which is high radiation. This is very dangerous also for the people. So this kind of material trap the far infrared lights during the cool nights, and it also adaptive shading of the cladding high solar radiation. So that's the reason that advanced cladding materials is high cost, but the transmittance of part light used for photosynthesis remains high. So the vegetable hasn't problems to have a very good or a very good development, because the quantity of light is reduced, because the problem of the near infrared light, but in this case we have a crop damage, and in this case we have a better development of the crop. So in these kind of temperatures reduce, of course, the yield of the greenhouses production. So they use irrigation techniques such as timed, for example, or sensor-driven drip irrigation, which control the quantity of water used inside the greenhouse, and also use to manage the relativity humidity and also ventilation. And there is hydroponic greenhouses which use the crop production in various forms. Most of them are used or bred to reduce the quantity of water in irrigation. And also, if we compare it to field grow, it's only a few quantity of water used in this kind of technology. So uh, also the quality and the productivity increase inside the greenhouse using the hydroponic system, because we apply the quantity of water that the crops needs. So in extreme climates, for example, the protected agriculture is in a depth well or a depth flow hydroponic system, also chilling the nutrient solution, and they can reduce bolting at teeth boards, accident in lettuce, for example. This is a very big problem with the quantity of water that we apply. So is because the deficit irrigation method as an important tool to achieve the goal of reducing the use of water. So in this case, they have a treatment with different in total yield. For example, here they apply the water use efficiency in tomato, and they make different techniques of irrigation. In the full irrigation system, they apply all the water that the crops needed, but also use a regulated deficit irrigation with and also a partial root drying method, which is applied. This is the partial root drying, and that regulate deficit irrigation. And with this method of irrigation, they produce the highest quantity of production. So they save water and increase the quantity of production. In this case, greenhouses, or most of them in the environment, arid environment, most of them involve the use of electricity for cooling the greenhouses. So the annual solar radiation is the double than the quantity of solar radiation that is in the temperate climate. So there also an advantage is the increased crop yields. Of course, in this kind of environment is highest the quantity of production. So also they use the seawater in the greenhouse and the solar energy to humidify and cool the greenhouse's air. They, they have the technology to use the seawater and they use this seawater through the solar heating and condense fresh water that they use to reduce the temperature, and this water is provided as a fresh water by the condensation inside the greenhouse. So the maximum air temperature draw was of 9.8 degrees when the ambient air temperature and relative humidity were 38 and 25%. So respectively, seawater greenhouses have been built in Tenerife, Spain, Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates, and near Muscat, Oman, almost recently in Port Augusta and South Australia, because this new technique is very useful to reduce temperature, to save water, and obtain fresh water also. So finally, the arid environment of the greenhouse in a high solar radiation is very common in some countries like Almeria, Spain, which is the large greenhouse industry with most of 55 hectares of production with this kind of greenhouses. Or 35 degrees, and the high vapor pressure or deficit pressure is less 1 kilopascal. So there is a common in these greenhouses during the summer months that decrease in yields and quality of the greenhouse's production, but they have passive evaporative cooling uh, through the fogging couplet with shading in the most effective and created an improved plant environment. So they are successful green growers that reduce their costs. So other growers use less forced ventilation than typical fan and pad system. However, ventilation is popular there because it's common use, but still a lack of control of the plant environment with this use of the ventilation. So passive open natural environment open at different times, and they are adjustably diurnal and seasonal changes through arid climate temperature agriculture. So many challenge remains with regards to cladding material choice, but energy and water use efficiency and proper control of the plant environment is still in the hands of the growers of this kind of agriculture. So we finish with that, the arid greenhouses.